After my divorce, I thought my cousin would help me get back on my feet. Instead, she and my neighbor conspired to report me for child neglect, to try and steal custody of my kids. I lost everything until a whistleblower showed me the fake evidence they had manufactured. I took them to court, got full custody back, and watched them both get publicly shamed for fraud in front of the entire town. I never thought my life would turn into something you'd read about online. But here I am. My name's Mike. I'm 36. I live in Springfield, Missouri, on the east side near Battlefield Road. Born here. Never thought I'd leave. Never thought I'd have to fight for my children either. A year ago, I was just trying to hold my family together. My ex-wife, Tara, had left me out of nowhere. No warning. Just a text that said, "I can't do this anymore." She had been distant for months, but I blamed myself. Working overtime, always tired. I didn't see the signs. She left me and took off with some guy named Rob. He worked at her gym. One of those fake motivational types. Called himself a life architect. He was also married. They both ditched their families and ran off together. But Tara didn't take the kids. No. She left Dylan, 7, and Gracie, 4, with me. "I need time to figure out who I am," she said when she packed her things. At first, I thought maybe this is for the best. The kids deserve better than her anyway. But I was drowning. Bills. Childcare. Meals. Homework. Working second shifts at the warehouse. Trying to keep the lights on and the rent paid. That's when my cousin Becky stepped in. Becky and I grew up together. Her mom and mine were sisters. We were close as kids. She protected me from bullies in school. She had her first job at 16 and used to bring me snacks from the gas station when my mom couldn't afford them. She was the only family who didn't judge me when Tara left. "Mike," she told me, "I'm proud of you. You're stepping up. Let me help." She started babysitting Dylan and Gracie when I worked nights. She brought over dinners and groceries sometimes. She even helped me move into a cheaper rental house. Said she had a friend at the hospital, Dana, who lived across the street and could also help if I ever got in a bind. At first, I thought I was finally catching a break. Dana seemed nice. A single mom with 2 grown kids. Worked in records at the hospital. She'd wave at me in the mornings and sometimes brought over leftovers. Becky and Dana told me, "It takes a village." I believed them. Things started getting weird about 2 months in. Becky kept mentioning how overwhelmed I looked. How the kids needed more than you can give right now. Dana asked casual but pointed questions. "Are you sure they're getting enough to eat? Do they ever say they miss their mom?" Once, when I picked the kids up from Becky's after work, she sighed and said, "I just want what's best for them. We all do." It sounded caring. But her tone didn't feel right. Then came the reports. A neighbor said he'd heard the kids crying late at night. Someone told CPS my home was dirty and that I left the kids alone for hours. The CPS worker showed up at my door. "We've received reports of child neglect." My heart stopped. I let them in. They checked the house. My place wasn't spotless, sure. 2 little kids, a tired dad. It wasn't magazine cover clean. But it wasn't dangerous or filthy either. The kids had food. They had clean clothes. They were safe. CPS said it was probably nothing. But they would keep an open file. That's when my stomach started hurting every time I saw Becky or Dana's faces. A week later, CPS came back. This time, it wasn't just a visit. They had evidence. Photos of dirty rooms. Gracie crying alone in a corner. Dylan looking scared on an unmade bed. Burn marks on the couch cushion. They had witness statements. From Becky. And Dana. They said I was neglecting the kids. That they'd seen signs of malnutrition. That the house was unsafe. My cousin. My neighbor. The 2 people I trusted most. They backed each other up perfectly. Their statements lined up. By the end of the month, a judge ruled for emergency foster placement. I watched as CPS took Dylan and Gracie out of my arms. I remember Gracie asking, "Daddy, where are we going?" I had no answer. I tried to fight it. I hired a lawyer, best one I could afford. She believed me but told me the evidence was stacked too high. Every time we made progress, new reports appeared. More photos. More statements. Neighbors, people I thought were friendly, repeated what Becky and Dana told them. "He's overwhelmed. He means well, but the kids need stability." I heard yelling. Even Tara called me. "You've failed as a father, Mike." I didn't even yell back. I just hung up. I started sleeping in my truck. The house felt too empty. I almost gave up. I don't even want to write what I almost did. But then, the break came. Her name was Shannon. A nurse who worked nights at the same hospital where Dana did. She found me outside the courthouse after another crushing hearing. "You're Mike, right?" she asked, eyes darting around. "Yeah. I don't know you. But I know what Dana and Becky did." I didn't trust her at first. Then she handed me a flash drive. Dana used my laptop by mistake during a staff meeting. She uploaded some files. I saw things I shouldn't have. I copied them. I couldn't just look the other way. That night, back at the house, I opened the files. Photoshopped images. The same ones CPS had used, but I could see the edits now that I knew where to look. Text messages between Becky and Dana. Planning how to stage messy house scenes. Talking about which neighbors they could pressure into making false statements. One voice memo. Becky's voice. "Once the kids are out of Mike's hands, we'll both have a shot at fostering. The state pays good money. Plus, they'll be better off without him." They weren't protecting my kids. They were trying to steal them for money. And now I had proof. I took the flash drive to my lawyer the next morning. She looked through it, stone-faced. Then she smiled for the first time in months. "This changes everything." At the next hearing, we requested a full stop to the custody process and presented the digital evidence. The judge ordered a forensic analysis. While we waited, Becky kept acting like everything was fine. She even posted on Facebook about how hard it was to make tough family choices for the sake of the children. I wanted to scream every time I saw her face. It took 2 weeks for the forensic team to confirm the evidence. The photos were faked. The statements were coached or completely fabricated. And the worst part? Dana and Becky had done this before. Not to family, but to a neighbor years ago. That case hadn't gone far. But it was enough for the court to take it seriously. We went back to court. The room was packed. Reporters. Neighbors. Even Tara showed up out of curiosity. The judge laid it all out. Dana confessed quickly. Said Becky pressured her. That she'd been promised a cut of the foster payments. Becky tried to deny everything. Tried to cry. Blamed stress and misunderstandings. But no one believed her now. The judge restored my full permanent custody. Then criminal charges were filed. Fraud. Falsifying evidence. Child endangerment. But the criminal case wasn't even the best part. The public fallout? That was the real revenge. The day after court, I woke up to over 50 text messages. Some were from people I hadn't heard from in years. Old friends. Parents from Dylan's school. Even my boss. "Mike, I'm so sorry. Can't believe Becky did that to you. Is there anything we can do?" The Springfield News Leader had published the story by noon. Local family members fabricated child neglect claims for custody payouts. It was on the local TV news by that evening. Dana's mugshot. Becky's mugshot. My face blurred out, but everyone in town knew who the father was. I thought I'd feel relief. Instead, I felt rage. Because while Becky and Dana were being investigated, I still had to convince the school, the church, and every single parent in the neighborhood that I wasn't the villain they'd all believed I was for months. Some people apologized right away. Others avoided me. One mom at the playground actually pulled her kid away from Gracie and said, "We just don't want to get involved." I wanted to scream at her. Get involved? You were involved. All of you were. You believed the lies. But I kept calm. For Dylan and Gracie. They had been through enough. Becky didn't go quietly. While waiting for her criminal trial, she hired a lawyer and filed a civil suit against me. Claimed I had defamed her and caused emotional distress. Can you believe that? She said the flash drive was illegally obtained and that Shannon was violating privacy laws. Her lawyer sent me a letter saying they'd settle if I agreed to joint custody. Joint custody. After everything she did, she still wanted partial control over my kids. My lawyer laughed when she read the letter. Let her try. It's going to backfire. We countersued for malicious prosecution and intentional infliction of emotional distress. That's when Becky's lawyer tried to back out of the case. But the damage was done. The lawsuit drew more media attention. People who had stayed quiet before now started speaking up. A neighbor across the street, the one Becky had pressured to lie, came forward. She gave a sworn statement that Becky had offered to pay her $500 to say she heard fighting at night. Another woman from Becky's daycare job said Becky had once joked, "It's easy to get kids taken away if you know the right people to talk to." The case was unraveling fast. Just when I thought Becky would be my only problem, Dana turned on her. Through her lawyer, Dana agreed to testify against Becky in exchange for a lighter sentence. She provided even more evidence. Texts where Becky bragged about taking Mike down, voice recordings of strategy meetings, notes about which social workers to contact. Dana even admitted Becky had looked up how to make a parent look unfit for custody on her work computer. Dana wasn't innocent. Not by a long shot. But her betrayal of Becky cracked the case wide open. Becky was done for. I thought Tara was out of the picture. I was wrong. After the news blew up, Tara came back to town. Not for me. Not for the kids. For herself. She showed up at my door with her new husband. Yes, she married Rob after they ran off. She said she wanted to rebuild her relationship with the children and help them recover from this trauma. Translation? She smelled blood in the water and thought she could win some kind of custody or get sympathy from the court. She even filed a petition for shared custody, claiming I was too emotionally unstable from the ordeal to raise Dylan and Gracie alone. I almost laughed in her face. Instead, I let my lawyer handle it. Between Tara's abandonment record, her sudden reappearance, and the fact that she didn't even know Dylan's teacher's name, her petition was denied in 10 minutes. She stormed out of the courtroom and I haven't seen her since. By now, the whole town knew the truth. Becky couldn't show her face anywhere. Her husband filed for divorce. The daycare where she worked put up a sign. "We do not condone or support fraudulent actions. All children are safe here." Dana lost her job at the hospital. The church Becky attended issued a public statement cutting ties with her. People who used to believe Becky started apologizing to me in person. One woman from the PTA cried when she told me, "I should have asked for your side. I thought they were trying to protect the kids." Too late. Way too late. Through all of this, my biggest worry was Dylan and Gracie. They'd been through more than any kid should. Therapy helped. Slowly. One night, while I was putting Dylan to bed, he looked up and asked, "Daddy, are Becky and Dana still coming to get us?" I swallowed hard. "No, buddy. No one's taking you and Gracie ever again." He nodded. "Good. 'Cause Gracie says Becky's house smelled bad." I smiled, even though my chest felt like it was breaking. Kids are stronger than we think. But they remember everything. So do I. The civil trial finally came. The courtroom was packed again. Reporters. Neighbors. Even strangers who followed the case. Becky walked in looking pale and thin. Dana sat far away from her, pretending she didn't know her at all. My lawyer laid out everything. The fake reports. The photoshopped images. The bribes. The lies. Dana's full confession was read aloud. So was the neighbor's statement about Becky offering to pay for false testimony. Then Becky took the stand. She cried. She begged. She said she was only trying to protect the children. The judge didn't buy it. Neither did the jury. They found Becky guilty of malicious prosecution, fraud, and intentional emotional harm. She was ordered to pay me $250,000 in damages. She didn't have it. She'd have to sell her house, her car, everything. The judge also gave her the maximum sentence for the criminal charges. 6 years in state prison. No parole. Dana got 2 years probation and community service, plus she had to register with the state as a person unsuitable for child caregiving. Tara tried to slither back in again after Becky was sentenced. She posted online that she wanted to support my children through this difficult time. But one of her ex-friends leaked screenshots of Tara planning to sue me for child support, even though she abandoned the kids. The judge shut her down before she could file. And just to seal her fate, the court ordered Tara to pay back the $14,000 in unpaid child support she'd dodged for years. She left town after that. Haven't heard from her since. Neither have Dylan or Gracie. They don't even ask about her anymore. By summer, the town had made up its mind. Becky's name became a warning. Don't pull a Becky, people would say when someone lied or schemed. The daycare center was renamed. Dana moved to a different county and changed her last name. Nobody forgot what they did. And as for me, I kept the house. I got promoted to supervisor at the warehouse. I even started speaking at family court support groups for fathers in custody battles. But I never pretended to be a hero. When things first got bad, I'd thought about running away. Even thought about taking my own life once. That mistake almost cost my kids everything. I made sure Dylan and Gracie understood that sometimes adults can mess up, but the real test is if they fight to fix it. Last month, I got a letter from Becky. From prison. She begged for forgiveness. Said she had lost everything and just wanted to see the kids one day. I read it once. Then I shredded it. Becky and Dana had tried to destroy my family for money and power. They got what they deserved. So did Tara. And me? I'm just a dad now. Doing my best. But I never, ever, let anyone forget what happened. Because evil doesn't always come with a mask or a weapon. Sometimes it smiles at you, brings you dinner, and says, I'm here to help.